Hey there. I'm trying something new. I've never done any sort of tutorial or anything on my channel. Just posted a few videos of me playing, and someone wrote a very heartfelt request for some sort of tutorial on Sina Makosa, which I've done two versions. One when I was like everyone during COVID, I was trying to find something to do. I'm primarily a bass player. I'm not a guitar player, and I picked up a guitar during COVID and wasn't sure what I was going to play, but I gravitated towards a lot of the old African pop tunes that I've been loving for decades. I was introduced to Sina Makosa from this CD, Kenya Dance Mania, came out in about 91. I probably picked it up around that time. There's a great record store in San Francisco called Round World Music, and I would go in there, and he would always have great domestic and imported African CDs, and I bought many, many, many there. And this one, I've always loved this song. Even to today, I hear the opening, horns and guitar, and when the vocal finally comes in, I get chicken skin every time, and I just love it a lot. So when I was looking for a song to learn, this was an easy one to pick. But like I said, I'm not a guitar player. My fingerings are probably going to be weird. My voicings are going to be weird. But this is more from a learner to another learner, trying to play a song that is really, really fun to play. And I'll give it a shot. The song is in A major, like a lot of African songs. If you know some music theory, it goes from the 1 to the 4 to the 1 to the 5. So in this case, it would be from like an A chord to a D chord, A chord, and then to, we'll call it the E major seventh, the dominant chord. And that's because it kind of plays around with those notes in the chord. So the A chord is very, very basic, like beginner chord, open A string, and then across the second fret, you cover the second fret of the D string, second fret of the G string, and second fret of the B string, and that forms a very basic A chord. The D chord, I started with my pinky on the fifth fret of the A chord, because you want to have that nice, kind of sustaining the notes as you go up. So it would be fifth fret of the A string, fourth fret of the D string, second fret of the G string, and then the third fret of the B string. It's kind of hard to see my hand, but so the E chord would be second fret of the D string, fourth fret of the G string, third fret of the B string, and then the fourth fret of the E string. So A, D, A, E. So if you were just to strum along, it would be something like. But the second guitar part isn't playing strummed chords. It's doing a pattern just with those same fingerings. So I broke it down to where I could start to play it by just doing it very simply. Just playing up from the low string to the high string. So that's the A chord, just barring across those strings. And again, that's the 5, 4, 2, 3 across those strings. And then the E chord, it doesn't play all the notes. It just goes from on the G and B string, the fourth and third to the second and the second. Oops, sorry. So I would start off very slowly. And it does, at the end, it kind of plays these two strings together. It's kind of this. So the real pattern, it kind of goes up and down a little bit, but you can kind of hear how it goes. So it just goes back down to the G string. So on the D chord, it lets go of the third fret on the B string, and then you have this one still barring. So you kind of leave this your forefinger across those three strings through the whole thing. Let me start that again. Sorry. So I would just practice going back and forth between the A, that plucking pattern, the A and the D. And that kind of got me anchored. This finger never moves off of those three strings. And also you can hear I'm missing some notes, but you know, when I was playing it every day, it was, you get, and then I'd add in the little tag at the end. And that's just repeats over and over and over and over again for a long time. Now, moving on to the lead guitar part, it sounds very complicated. But it's pretty straight ahead. Like these notes are octaves. It's the same note, just on a lower and higher string. And it helps to break down the bottom note first and then work on getting the top note. So the pattern there, we're starting up on the 7th fret of the D string, and that's the A. And then going to the E, which is the 7th fret of the A string, and then up to the F sharp, which is the 9th fret on the A string, and then down to the D, which is the 5th fret on the A string. So this one's on the D string. And then the second time it does it, it's similar, it just changes one note. It goes, that's the first time. And the second time it's the 7th fret on the D string, back down to the E, the 7th fret on the A string, then up to the 6th fret on the D string, back down to the E, the 7th fret on the A string. So the pattern, you know, just the bottom note of that pattern is, and then what you're adding on top, and the way I play it is if you can see this hand here, is I'm using a pick, and then I have this finger free. So I'm playing the octave. So if you can find the octave, so if I'm playing the A on the D string, then the octave up is the 5th fret on the E string. So it's kind of hard to go back and forth, so I'm using my middle finger to pluck the higher string. And just try to get that feeling going. And then when I go down to the E, then the octave is the 5th fret on the B string. So it just drops everything down a string. So it helps just to kind of build it up piece by piece. And because this was really hard to get together, this plucking. So by just doing that over and over again, I kind of got that. And then I can start moving it around. So according to what we learned before, that's the beginning of the line. Then down to this, the D, which is the 5th fret, and then the 3rd fret on the B string. So it's the same pattern, you're just moving. And then even just doing it together helps. And then trying to get the So that took me a long time to get that together. The slide up is not very hard. It's the so if you're on the G string, it's the 4th fret, and then the note above it is the 3rd fret on the B string. So and you just slide that up a whole step. So that's on the G and B string. So you just fit that in between. And that one I'm using my middle finger in the pick. You can stroke it if you, but that's since I'm already combining those two fingers. So that right there, you've got the basic. You've got those two main parts. And there's a little lick that I didn't, and I have to say on the recording, there's a lot more kind of subtle notes, like grace notes and things like that being thrown in there. This is a pretty simplified version of the whole tune. But there's little fun stuff like. And that's just from 7th fret on the E string and pull off to the 5th fret, and then to the 5th fret of the B string. And the fingers are kind of already there, so it's not too bad. This fun stuff like that. So that goes on for a while. That keeps going. And then the lead will switch to this other part. Kind of I guess you call it the chorus or the B section. And it really helps on this part. It's, again, this is an A. What helped me in the end was really trying to understand, like, as I played it, I'm like, oh, this is a scale. So I figured out it's the A major scale. So if you start on the 10th fret on the B string, that's the A. I'm not going to walk through it all, but getting that under your fingers really helps, because that's what this upper line is, just moving around that scale. So it starts playing from on the 10th fret to the 12th of the E string. So it's just outlining the 3 notes of the chord. So 10th fret on B, 12th on E, 9th on the E string, back down to the 10th. And then it goes down to the 11th on the G string, to the 12th on the D string, and this kind of back up. And then it goes again on this 10th fret, but going straight up to the 10th fret on the E string. So from the B string to the E string. And then it does a little like slide up from the 12th to the 14th on the E string. So to get to that point, we have all right. And that just goes right. Same thing we just. And now it's dropping down to the 9th fret on the G string, to the 9th fret on the B string. And then up to this 10th fret on the E string again. Oops. Just that's the basic pattern. And then after a few times, it will switch just one little part where it's like, and instead of, it goes, and that's barring across the 12th fret of the G and B strings, and then down to the 11th and 10th frets of the G and B string. And then back down to that 12th fret of the D string. Sorry. Okay, and so it's just, it starts out with the straighter version. Then it switches to. So after I do that a few times, and then I go into this other part where it starts from the E, which is the fifth fret on the B string, going down to the open A string. So I do this. And then that same that we used before, remember from the beginning? I put that in there, so it's. So it kind of goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And then I go, so that's the open D string up to the 7th fret on the D string, the A. And then up to the 5th fret of the E string to the 7th fret of the B string. So the whole thing together goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So that's the first part. And the second part is a little bit of a variation. To the 7th fret on the A string, to the 6th on the D string, and the other part is on the B string, the high E string, the 7th to 5th. Sorry, it's a little confusing, but I'll play it in time. So the whole thing together, first part, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And it does that for a few times, and then I'll just have the lead guitar drops out going. At the end of that part, and then I just don't play that again. I mean, the original tune again, it comes back in, but I dropped it out and let the second guitar take over. And that's got a few different things it does. It kind of starts playing its usual. And then it switches up and does this other. And that's starting up on the 6th fret of the D string. Down a whole step and down to the 7th fret of the A string. Down to the 5th fret of the A string. So that's going from the 4th on the G, 6 on the D, 7th on the A. And then I do this other pattern that goes. So I do the same walk up. And then this little 2-note chord is on the G string, it's the 6th fret. On the B string, it's the 5th fret. And then I go up to just barring across the 7th fret on the G and B string. That's right. Again, the same walk up, but this time I'm doing, and this is the 4th fret on the G string and 3rd on the B, and then barring across the 2nd fret on the B, the G and B strings. And that's just from the 2nd fret on the D string to the 2nd fret on the G string. So again, that pattern's. And I think maybe I went back to. And that's kind of it. I'll put a link to the version I have. I think that covers everything. I think once you get these shapes under your fingers, you can do it. I mean, you can kind of fool around and make up your own stuff. Again, the scale up here really makes a difference because you can, as long as you play notes in that scale, you're kind of okay. Well, I hope this helps. Again, it's a pretty disjointed. It's my first time trying this. Maybe if this bothers me a whole lot, I'll redo it again. But thanks for tuning in.